Good morning, UBBOptionMillionaires.com. September 15, 2014. It is a Monday, and stock futures are almost back to the losses that they had right at the start of the overnight session. We're going to pull into positive territory here in a couple minutes, and wow, a pretty impressive move off the lows. It looked very bearish overnight. It sucks to be a bear these days, doesn't it? I'm sure a lot of the bears were coming out of their caves. Oh, here we go! And then when stock futures started to rally, they called a timeout. Unfortunately, the official didn't give it to them. So we have stock futures rallying. If you want to look, we also have oil lower. Oil is down over. Oil futures down almost 1%. I'm sure you're noticing that at the gas pump when you go to fill up your vehicle or your moped, whatever you drive around. And when oil was starting to rally, we had the Middle East conflict. Everybody was talking about $150 for a barrel of oil, and now that it's pulling back, you don't hear anything. It's like when it starts to rise, everyone's like, oh, it's a tax on the consumer, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, I just went and spent about 15% less than I spent about a month ago to fill up my car, and you don't hear about that being bullish for the consumer. Nonetheless, you can see just this whole marketplace continues to be skewed towards downside. The only thing that's really been going down with any kind of vigor recently, although we did have a pullback in stocks, has been bonds, which is selling off in anticipation of maybe moving up the interest rate increase from the Federal Reserve or raising interest rates, and we get a pullback here. I was actually in the 119 puts right here at the top. I brought, and you can look it up even at StockTwits or at the blog at optionmillionaires.com, my Twitter account, that I was looking for this topping pattern because it was a long-term resistance here at the 119 level right here. See it? We go all the way across, came here, worked to perfection. So the question now is, are we going to come down to this 110.50 level and bounce, or are we going to bounce here? Right now, again, as I'm pointing out, we have futures starting to recover their losses. We also have bonds coming back. Bonds are being bid, which means we're going to get a bounce here this morning. You can see we're oversold briefly yesterday. Not yesterday, excuse me, on Friday. So we have this nice gap to fill from the 1460 level. We'll see if we can get back to that. We have another gap down here at the 16 level. So we could be looking at a short-term rally in the bond market. And of course, the Federal Reserve, this is a big week, a giant week. We have the Federal Reserve minutes, Federal Reserve meeting on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we have Janet Yellen. She's going to do her press conference. We get to hear her lovely voice on Wednesday. We also have Thursday, we have Alibaba IPO, the biggest IPO, and we also have the Scottish. Are they going to leave? And we'll see. That's going to be a big deal as well. So it's a very exciting week. We also have earnings kind of just weaved in here. We have Adobe earnings on Tuesday, and this is a stock that looks like it could recover some of its recent losses. On Wednesday, we have a bubble stock. This is a cardinal. This is not a cardinal. This stock represents everything that is a bubble in this marketplace, right? FedEx, a company that employs thousands upon thousands of people, that's been in business for 30 plus years, that has significant revenue. Yeah, this is a bubble. So why is FedEx at record levels? And if you pull up a 20-year chart, look at the breakout to record highs here for FedEx, and we have earnings coming. This could continue to the upside. Go FedEx! So to me, I'm being sarcastic. I think FedEx represents what is not bubble about this market. You have a lot of real names, real companies that are just moving because they're growing and the economy is working for them. So, and if you think about it as well, a lot more stuff's being shipped these days than in years past. So we have earnings again from FedEx, and then we have Pure One. And FedEx is going to be before the bell on Wednesday at 2:30, 3 o'clock. Janet Yellen on Wednesday is going to come out, talk about her dots and her periods and exclamation points. And then after the bell, we have Pure One Imports, which is that support here. We'll see if that earnings report after the bell on Wednesday is going to help stoke the stock. On Thursday, we have Alibaba with a IPO. It's going to be in the $60 to $66 per share range. We have earnings from Oracle. I think Oracle had bought something this weekend. I'd have to look again. We can see it broke out here. We're getting close to the record highs here that we saw back in the internet bubble. But if you look at this chart, it looks like this is a monthly chart consolidation here for a move to record levels. We have NQ reporting earnings, which has been beaten down, muddy waters. And we have Red Hat reporting earnings, which to me, if we just exclude the long-term chart, looks very bullish here. We have a nice cup and a handle. I love those cup and handle formations. And if you look, some of the previous earnings report chart formations have worked just great. We had a head and shoulders decline, and then we started to round up consolidation on this flag and breakout. So we look for new highs here on Red Hat. It also is the 6th anniversary of the Lehman Brothers collapse. Yeah, that's very bullish too. And also Trump is going bankrupt for the, 12th time in the last 20 years. The first, though, since 2009, which is, very bullish. But let's look at some charts from last week. How about fuel, which rocketed higher? And now the chart looks in such a downswing here. But if you look from the short term, we had that nice ramp up on Thursday and into Friday. Also, FEYE, so the Fs continue to work. FEYE, even though it was down over 2.77%, well up off the lows at the $28 level that I was highlighting as a great point to buy. And look at this run. We can continue to see upside in this name for FEYE. How about Yahoo, which I've seen reports has as much as $38 worth of value from the Alibaba IPO. Factor in that they run my fantasy league, and you add another 10 or 15 bucks to the name. We could see a new $50 level on Yahoo in the short term. We have stocks that I like here. CRR, which is right at support. I love this one for a relief rally, as I do with ESI. CRR, I think, can hit 110, 115 in the next week and a half. ESI, I think, can head over $10 absent any kind of negative news. Google remains muddy as far as it just can't get out of the mud. It seems like it's stuck. It just doesn't want to move to record highs. And I think it's going to happen when everyone least expects it. So here I'm sitting here, I'm expecting new highs in Google. I'm expecting it. So maybe it's going to meander around here a little bit before catapulting to new highs. And maybe because I'm saying I don't expect it, maybe it'll just happen today. So I'm looking at calls. I continue to like the stock for a move to record levels. Ulta was on the watch list at optionmillionaires.com. The 120 October calls were a 400% gain. We had a nice move up on Ulta to just off record highs. The record high, I think, on Ulta was 130. Yeah, 132.50. There we are, right there. So we've got a lot of room to go there on Ulta. Ulta was up almost 20% at some point. I think it was over 20%. So. All right, UPB here, optionmillionaires.com. Another stock to watch talked about in Barron's this weekend. Pfizer, which has been consolidating, looks for a nice move. Starbucks, which is looking for lower. We broke support. Great points made in Barron's as well. This week, there's pressure on the Fed to do something. Also, something that I think was kind of put into the back pages. Greece had a great favorable debt sale, over $2 billion worth of debt sold, and that's kind of bullish to me. I mean, a couple of years ago, Greece was going to go belly up, and here they are selling billions of dollars in notes. And also something else to think about, a nice analyst note talking about, hey, you know what? These days, you go back to 2000, there is 25% less stock to be bought in this marketplace. So supply and demand, and that's why you're seeing, as we hit our highs, I know stocks are more expensive, the ETFs are more expensive. That's why you're seeing a drop off in volume. But I also think there's a lot less stock out there, and it's 25% fewer. And that analyst has a target of 2350 in 2015 as Piper Jaffray. So, all right, UPB here, optionmillionaires.com. I'll see you in the chat room at Option Millionaires. And everyone have a great trading session. It's going to be a very interesting week here. Stock futures. Let's see where we are here before we go. Pulling back now. Oh no! I think ultimately we're going to probably continue to the upside because that's what this market does, right? All right, UPB. I'll see you in the chat room. Everyone have a great trading day and a great week. Goodbye.